Hello everybody, I'm back and I'm gonna make a new tutorial. I'm gonna model something, if you know the game Warframe, it just came out and, well, it's not really out because it's still a closed beta and I got a key and I played it a bit and, I think it's fun for a game but it's quite repetitive and it's a brainless first person shooter slasher whatever. So anyways, in the game you have like Warframes which are basically cyborg ninjas that are overpowered and you could just slash enemies and kill them and all that kind of crap. So I think their designs are quite nice and I want to make a Warframe of my own. So I did this concept art, but I'm a very I'm not a good painter yet. I did this on Photoshop and if you're interested I can get into that later, but as you can see I'm not that good at painting. But anyways, you can check out tutorials for I Draw Girls because they're quite awesome. I'll put a link. So anyways, I won't be modeling all of this. I mean, maybe if I like it, I'll continue for all the body. But basically, we're gonna be doing like just this part. And this is just a painting, just for me to get an idea for the colors and shapes. But basically, I won't be looking so much at the painting, and I will be, more or less just figuring stuff out right from my head on the fly. But I mean, this is just to get an idea of what I'm going to be doing. So as you can see, he's kind of badass. I don't know if you don't think he's badass. I haven't done my job correctly. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna be doing like this base mesh for the bust. The bust is like just the head and the shoulders and the chest and nothing else. And I'm going to be just blocking in the model for now, just to check out the proportions. And so yeah, so let's get started. Oh, by the way, if you don't know how to use this program, you have to check out my other videos. I have ones that are older and they go around how I go about using this program. So, and the shortcuts, because I use lots of keyboard shortcuts to make my work really fast. So I'm just gonna drink some water here because I'm thirsty. Yeah. So anyways, so I'm gonna be modeling, and I don't know if I'm going to be going too fast or too slow because I need to this is not this is my first time actually modeling something. So I mean, if you can tell me, give me some comments how I'm about my speed or my workflow or anything, it will be really helpful. So let's get to it. So as you can see, if you click over here, you have your cameras. Now don't work on user, because the user cam is orthographic. It doesn't have any perspective, so you're gonna be modeling on an orthographic view. When your model is going to end up in a perspective view, you'll have this huge gap in the camera, so just don't model in orthographic view, stay on the camera view. Now I'm just going to be going really quickly about the shortcuts, because this is not a video for shortcuts, but this is still my first video for modeling. So anyways, I'm gonna be just use the S key. If you hold down the S key and middle click, right click, or left click, you just navigate the camera. So if you go here and press wireframe, then shaded, then wireframe, then display options. I'm just gonna make a cube so you can see what we're doing. Yeah. So the lighting, like I said in the past video, it sucks. It's not good for modeling. So you go to display options, and I'm going to be basically doing this on every video. So this just will become second habit to you. I mean, it should, to do what I'm doing right now. Camera and shaded and all this setup. So I like to put the intensity on 0.5 because I don't like it too bright and I don't like it too dark. So I like it like kind of dark. Anyways. Okay, so here's the cube, and this is what I start basically from for all of my models. I start from a cube, or maybe a plane, I don't know, it depends, but I mean or maybe a cylinder even. It depends what you're doing, but basically if we're going to be modeling something like this, I like to start from a cube. So this session is only going to be blocking out for the base mesh. So let's do this. Oh, by the way, if you press like 1, 2, 3, 4, you could see you could switch it here. You could go for modeling, and then animation, and then rendering, and then ice, and then other cool stuff. So I'm gonna be sticking to modeling since we're gonna model. So I use Alt A to cut it in half. If you haven't seen my other videos, you should check them out to know what I'm doing right now, because the keyboard shortcuts and everything, whatever. So Alt A to cut it in half, then I delete the polygons below, and then I Control Alt X to clone it, and I put a clone on the other side. So now we have symmetry. So whatever happens here happens to the other side too. So well, this is this part is fun, because it's very crucial, because it dictates the rest of your model, So if you mess this up, you won't have a good model, since the proportions won't be right. So you just have to focus, on the proportions, and yeah. So I'm just gonna start, cutting up some edges. I like to delete this piece, or maybe leave it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Okay, so let's cut it over here, and you have to think of it as if you're like, I don't know, sculpting. You're just blocking out the mesh, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And seriously, like, I've been doing this for like maybe 5 years, or maybe less, I don't know. But the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you get at it. Because if you don't practice, you're not gonna magically do a hardcore high resolution model. You have to like work it out. You have to keep on trying, and you have to keep on practicing, and you have to keep working hard and practicing. Because if you don't want to do it, and if you expect to pull off like this insane model from the first time, it's not gonna work, because you don't practice. And I suggest you check out anatomy books, because they help you a lot. And I might do a video just to link some stuff about anatomy books. And so yeah, as you can see, I'm just dividing edges right now, doing selections. If you don't know what I'm doing, then you should check out my other videos. I mean, because I did a half an hour video just for keyboard shortcuts, so I'm not gonna talk about them again in this video. So basically, just selecting edges and moving them around, tweaking them, blocking my mesh. So yeah. So this guy is going to be like badass guy. So so we have to like make him very badass. Yeah, maybe his shoulders should be like over here. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be his chest, and we're gonna move his neck a bit back, and yeah. You might hear some keyboard violence in a bit, because my brother will be smashing his keyboard, since he plays a lot of Dota, which is a good game in my opinion, and when he rages, he just bashes at his keyboard like an asshole. So sorry about that. He's next to me right now. So just select your edges and just divide them and move polygons around. Just get the formula that you need. And this is I don't care about the polygons right now. I don't care at all. This is just to block out some stuff. This is just the base. This is the base shape for our model. So so this is going to dictate like everything else that's going to happen. So I suggest you press the M key, you get this awesome tool and you could just move whatever you want around, you know, whether it's edges or polygons or whatever. And I think it's awesome because you know because you don't have to select and move everything around. You just press the M key, and you know. So I can see here that you know he has a lot of stuff next to his neck, and we need to buff that up, you know, like we need to show that in our base mesh, you know. And at the same time, you know, this is just this is a painting, so you're free to do whatever you want with it. But I mean, when it comes to 3D, you know, there's I mean, it's your job at the end to keep the details as much as you can from the model, you know. And I suggest you draw a lot, you know, just to check out your ideas, how they look before. If you don't draw, it's okay, you know, because you know, I'm not a good painter, anyways. But you know, if you draw, it's good. If you don't, you should just at least try a bit, and you know, study anatomy. So his head, you know, it has like a tight jaw, and then it expands as it gets to his head. So I gotta do that right now, and I think, you know, he has a huge head, so we should do that somewhat. Yeah, it definitely tapers to his jaw. So yeah, so you know, I don't care about the polygons right now. I'm just moving points and subdividing edges, you know, like this, you know, shift D to D as in duck to you know, divide. I'm just selecting and moving stuff around, you know, not a lot of fancy stuff going on, you know. And you know, I'm just trying to find a good shape for my model, you know, like good base. And you know, this part over here is going to be dictating whatever else happens to the model. So yeah, it's not very fun, I mean, in my opinion, as much as where as detailing goes. But you know, it's still cool, you know, to block out your mesh. And okay, I'm gonna delete the light so we can check out the silhouette right now. So what you do is press 8 to open the Explorer, and then select your light and delete it. And now, since we have our headlights on, I'm gonna go to display options, and I'm gonna turn off the headlight, which is, you know, if you scroll down here, you have it. So yeah, so this is the headlight off, and now we can see, you know, the silhouette, which is cool. So yeah, it's not quite there yet, it's very far, but you know, to push it more. Now I don't care about the topology right now, because the topology is like edge flow and stuff like that, because I don't because you know, we can fix it up later, it's okay. But what I care about right now is the silhouette. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, block in the shoulders even, you know, the shoulder pads, because I think it's good. So I'm gonna turn on the headlight again, so just so you can see what I've done. I made another cube. I'm gonna put it over here, and or actually I'm gonna do the shoulders alone. Okay, so now I'm gonna press Control Alt Q, and this isolates everything. You still have your selection, you still have everything. I haven't deleted anything, but you know, this is just isolation, and you can remove it from this. This is very useful button. I really suggest you put it like on your keyboard shortcuts. So you know, if I'm going too fast, you know, yeah, tell me in the comments. But but I mean, you should know what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm working on only one half of the shoulders. Select the edges, move them over here, and if you press this button or L on your keyboard, you can weld points together, you know, like this and this, but you don't need that right now. So anyways, I'm gonna move this piece over here. I'm gonna weld these points together, and I'm trying my best to keep it simple right now, you know, because there's not much need to. This is not the detailing part. You know, this is just blocking, just to see how things go. You know. So yeah, maybe something like this is enough for now. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave it like this. Just put it where it belongs. Yeah. And you know, this basically comes from lots of hours of practice all the time. Okay, so I'm thinking about animation at the same time, and if his shoulder, like over here, is like too close to his head, he's not gonna be able to turn his head left and right. And I think that's very bad idea. So I'm just gonna symmetrize the shoulder piece. Yeah, we'll put it over here. Let's fix his body a bit. Okay. Try to symmetrize it. Okay, maybe change something with it. Put it like this. Yeah, if you haven't played Warframe, I don't think it's a good idea to get it, because I played it a bit. And you know, it has like, you play for 2 hours, and then another 2 hours, and then another 2 hours, and then you just bored. So I don't know, maybe it's just a closed beta, you know, we can't really judge. But so far it's yeah, it's cool. So yeah, you know, this part, you know, just select your edges, shift D, and just move them around, move your points around. Yeah, maybe make bigger shoulders. And yeah, let's see what's going on. Yeah, I definitely need to mark some stuff better. So I'm gonna isolate the selection and merge some points together. So, oh, by the way, the N key, you could just draw polygons, just like that. That's pretty cool. And so I'm gonna merge these together and connect the points. And just move them around, just to get, you know, just to make him, you know, more fleshed out. Connect these, you know, and don't think about the polygons and the edge flow, you know, or if you have like more than 4-sided polygons or whatever, you know, just sculpt the thing, you know, just look at the forms, because you can fix that later, you know. So this guy, some spike, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move this piece over here, and yep, just looking at the form, you know? This is a good idea to move this down to here. And you know, I really suggest you pick up some anatomy books, because they help you a lot. You'll see later. I mean, maybe not in this model, but in this part of making the model, you know, like having the proportions of the head right against the shoulders and the chest, you know. And I'm not saying I have perfect anatomical knowledge, but I have enough to keep me going and to do whatever I want. So I really suggest you do that. You know, maybe check out Andrew Loomis. I'll put the links in the description, and yeah, I think he has like tighter jaw, smaller. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Maybe something like this. Yeah, I need more geometry. As you can see, you know, if you have like right keyboard shortcuts, you know, you can just go crazy with the speed of, you know, like harness the speed of the program. So maybe more edges on the neck, or maybe not. Bad idea. Okay, so he has a V shape on his face, you know, like, so I should definitely do that. And I think it's cool. So yeah, something like this, maybe. I'm gonna move this to here, move this piece over here, and it's basically just moving pieces around. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, you know, I don't really have to stick to the painting. Unless you're actually working at a games company, you know, then you have to stick to your paintings. But, you know, over here, you know, I think I'm gonna deviate a bit from my like, original concept design, you know. Not too much, you know, because I like it. And, you know, just moving points around. Okay, so let's check the silhouette again, see how it's looking, because I don't think it's good enough right now. Yeah, I definitely think it needs a lot of work. So so if I remove these, I'm not really happy with the design now, but you know, maybe we can fix some stuff up. Let's add in the spikes because they help a lot with the silhouette. So I'm just gonna make a cylinder, and I don't know how they're gonna look like, but you know, just blocking them is a good idea. Maybe something like this. Yeah, let's keep it flat from the top. And okay, so you know, I'm just selecting polygon loops and then selecting edge loops and then just moving them. XCV, you know, move, scale, rotate. Maybe this horn, maybe this spike is good for his head, I don't know. I mean, we have to try. But Control Alt D to duplicate stuff around. So I'm not sure. Okay, it's a bad idea. I mean, it's like a silhouette. Yeah, maybe smaller. I don't know. I have to check it out. Smaller. And let's move them down. Oh, by the way, you should definitely, switch between local and global. I've explained that in a, previous video, but, I mean, you have to imagine there's a guy inside this, and how is his head going to fit in? So, I think it should be, like just bigger than normal. This flat thing over here is a bad idea. So we should definitely move it up a bit. But I don't know if we'll do something interesting with it later on. So let's see. Okay. I think the top of his head should be bigger. And maybe it's a good idea if we move these back a bit. I don't know. Okay, let's work on the shoulders a bit. Flush them out more, maybe. So basically what's happening is, this phase, right now, I'm just blocking in everything to, just to see the silhouette. But later on we'll go into, the details that everybody likes and everybody likes to do. I don't know if I'm going to be using ZBrush on this. I don't really like using ZBrush on high resolution, on hard surface models, since it's going to be mechanical. So I don't really, I'm not a big fan of ZBrush on hard surface. It can be really good, but I'm more comfortable over here in this program, because you have more control on the edge loops and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be using ZBrush on this. So I'm just gonna take out some stuff that we don't need. Delete this. And I'm just filling in the edge, the shoulder pad with some polygons, so we can oops, this is with the N key. And just left click, alt, middle click, left click, alt, middle click, shift D, some keyboard shortcuts. I think this is interesting to give it like an interior. We should make this round. You can use ZBrush for your hard surface, but it will look like clay, It won't look like an actual hard surface model, It'll look more like clay, which is not what I want for my model. I want it to look like, mechanical, hard surface, with hard edges and stuff. Which I don't think ZBrush. Maybe it can. I don't know. But for me, this over here is easier than to actually sculpt it on ZBrush. Maybe we'll add some extra details with ZBrush. So this phase is about trial and error. So forgot to save. Okay, board more Okay. Oh, 1. So always save your work, because you know it's this is a very good program, but all programs crash. And when you're like 30 minutes into the model and it crashes, you know, it's not very fun, you know. It's not fun at all, because you rage and then you're frustrated and then you don't want to work anymore, and then you realize that you have to do everything from scratch again, and it's a really not fun process. So, you know, just save a lot. And you know, I even have a save on my keyboard shortcuts, because you know when I press Control S it saves, and then when I press Control Shift S it makes me save as, and I can save another iteration of the model, which I think is crucial. You know, you should always think about saving. You know, have it like a reflex. You know, save whenever you can, because when it crashes, you know, you won't be too happy. I mean, you won't be happy at all. Actually, you will be very sad and very depressed and very demotivated. But I think you get the idea. So you know, just blocking everything around. I'm not sure about these spikes. I think they're a very bad idea for now. Maybe if we hide them. I don't know. Looks like a dog right now. But I'm sure we could fix this a bit more. Because yeah, maybe I don't know. Not sure about these right now. I think they look weak for the silhouette. You know, like look at the silhouette. You know, I don't like them. Maybe. I just scaled them down. Not sure. You know, just trial and error. I think they're a bit better. They're looking cool, kind of cool over here, but on 3D model, they're not looking so cool. So and you know what? I'm gonna delete them, because I don't like them. Maybe we can do a better job at those things. So I'm just, you know, filling the gap in. So there's a triangle over here. Now I'm just working a bit on the edges. Just to make it, you know, all squares. I mean, you know, I still don't care about the topology, but you know, maybe it's a good idea to keep some squares going on. And by squares I mean like quad triangles, quad polygons, you know, like over here. You know, all squares everywhere. So maybe if we select this piece, Control and scale it down, and now move it out. No. if we select these. So you see now, if I go into the details right now, you know, it's a very bad idea because the model doesn't look the model, you know, as a whole, like as everything fits. It doesn't fit together, you know. It's not good, you know. The silhouette, I don't like it, you know. So I'm just gonna keep on working until I'm satisfied, and that's what everybody should do, in my opinion. So let's go back a few steps. Control Z to undo. Okay, so map straight line, then let's try again. And then on the end it pops out like this. Yeah, I think that's more like the concept. Maybe just move a few points around. Okay. Oops. Yeah. I think that's more like it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Still not sure about the spikes though. Select these points. Let's just move a few around. I don't know, what do you guys think? So basically all I've done right now to this point is just locked in the mesh and just adding edges and subdividing and moving them around. I just need this to look very sharp. Okay, now just for model's sake, I'm going to delete the other piece, and then I'm going to isolate, Control Alt Q, and then select these points, and then press X, global, and center of geometry, and then scale them down. So now you know it's a straight line, and symmetrize it. Alt S. So you know, this phase is about trial and error. So I'm gonna like Alt A, delete the bottom half, Control Alt Q, Control Alt X to clone it, and then do the same thing all over again. So we're back to where we were. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna select these edges, Shift D,
points around. So I think his shoulders should be bigger. Alt 8 to delete the other half, and then it should be this. Shouldn't be this big because he won't be able to look left and right. So somewhere like this. And you know, if you guys noticed, you know, I keep on rotating my camera as much as I can. You know, keep on checking the model from all views with the S key, because it's very important. You know, this is 3D, it's not 2D, so you have to make sure it looks good from all sides. So I'm not sure. Should we change the spikes? Let's delete them and make new ones. I think it's better without the spikes, but you know, we can try one more time. Okay, maybe some more triangles. Maybe some more edge loops. Alright, maybe even more. So this should be good. Maybe this part, scale it in, move it down, scale it up, move it down. I don't know about this. Just give it a shot. So you know, it's just about trial and error. Just keep on trying stuff. Maybe this should be smaller. I don't know. Maybe this is a bit smaller. I'm not sure. I definitely want spikes over there, but I'm not sure if these are the right spikes I need. You know, just keep on checking the silhouette and see if it looks right. Alright, I'm just gonna leave them there, and if I don't like them, just remove them, because I think they're looking good over here. But maybe these. Wait, maybe they should be smaller or less pronounced. Maybe something like this. I don't know. Alright, so So let's start cutting the geometry in. So I'm gonna use the A key, which is the add edge shortcut. Just gonna cut some stuff in, and just to see, you know, what we can do, where we can push it, in terms of design, in terms of forms. You know, just trying some stuff, and you know, just don't think of this as a sculpture. Think of this as if you're sculpting something. You know, don't think about the polygons. You know, just think about the forms. Think about the design. And in my case, I think it's getting better. I don't know. Let's block in the shoulder, the chest piece. Maybe I should put some stuff over here. No. Do not think about the geometry. Just think about the forms. We'll fix them up later. No? So maybe if we take these, pull them up. These bit, yep. I think his back should be broader. Maybe something like this. I'll pull these in a bit. These maybe should be tighter. Polygons below, and you know, just okay. We have to do this manually. Bring it in, and you know, just try moving stuff around. Don't be scared to do everything all over again. You know, just like what I did a few minutes ago. Just do as you please. And maybe move this up. Let's cut him in half. Let's give him like this cut on his face. Like this. And maybe I have a better idea. Let's delete, symmetrize, Alt S. Let's move this a bit. Okay. Select this piece. Alt R to bevel, and then select these points, select this edge, select the other one. This is a cool trick I learned from a video tutorial. Move it in a bit. And now we have this in the middle. Yeah, those were my brothers. I told him I'm recording, but he's a fucking idiot. So yeah, I think this cut in the middle, so it should help a lot. Yeah. Well, it's not really helping because it's not major form, but you know, let's turn off the headlights. Check it out. See if the silhouette is interesting.
Oh, I think it's cool. No, I think we could push this even more. Let's think more in terms of the forms. Okay, so I'll cut this in half, then clone it to the other side, just like always. And then push this out. Maybe. Gonna put a line from this edge to over here. Split edge with split control.
I think this is enough for base mesh, because you know it looks like it's fleshed out, and we can move on to the part 2, second phase, and we can, you know, start adding some details. Maybe I'll edit this a bit more. I don't want to make the video size too big, so yeah, I think this has enough potential to take us to the next level of detailing. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You know, your opinions matter. But so far, you know, I think it looks robotic enough. Maybe some details over here. Alright, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and maybe this will take us to the next phase. I mean, I kinda like it, but if you guys don't, let me know. Okay, so basically what we just did is just locked in our model. Remember to save, and this is the first phase, which is blocking. So just check out the silhouette and everything, and maybe later on, you know, we can push it to the next level, and we can start detailing and doing some cool details for the hard surface. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. And if you have anything to say, just let me know, and you know, we can definitely push this to the other level. So see you guys.